Hello everybody, Nolan Nero here. How are we all doing? On the Mail of Sunday we got this magazine which is Event. It's a TV guide and they've usually got a few interviews by different people and that they talk about different things, mainly media, music, blah blah blah, that kind of stuff. But on the front cover it's got Russell Crowe and it's about this new biblical blockbuster that is coming out soon. Noah. And I can't wait to watch this. This is going to be amazing. It's by the director who has done Black Swan and The Wrestler, Darren Aronofsky. So it is going to be fabulous. Russell Crowe is talking about the film scene that finally crushed him and brought the Hollywood star to his knees. A quivering mess. We were doing a scene in Iceland where I had to fall into the sea, he says, talking about the making of the biblical blockbuster Noah. It was less than 39 degrees Fahrenheit. I'd been in and out of the sea, half naked, filming all day. Physically, it was very demanding. There were these rain towers in the sky that could flood 8 football fields in 30 seconds, and it was constant rain. We had 36 days of it. It gets to the point where it's like Chinese water torture. You can't take it anymore. I went into hypothermia. When we wrapped, I was lying on these stones and I couldn't get up. I couldn't stop shaking. I couldn't stop crying. 7 or 8 people put blankets on me and sat on me until I stopped. It was crazy. They were hugging me, trying to get me to stop shaking. What Crowe doesn't reveal until near the end of the anecdote is that it wasn't simply the unrelenting physical demands of the scene that caused him to break down. This happened just a few weeks after Danielle Spencer, his wife of 11 years, had told me that she didn't want to be married anymore and insisted that we sit in front of our children and tell them, so it was pretty heavy. Well, that's a shame, isn't it? His wife of 11 years wants a divorce. Well, they've probably had a divorce now. I pray in Jesus' name that Russell Crowe and his wife will get back together. And I pray for their souls, work on their lives. Well, Russell Crowe does believe. I'll tell you in a bit. Crowe caused a stir recently when he tweeted the Pope, "Holy Father, it would be my deepest pleasure to bring the film to you." He wrote on Twitter offering the Pontiff a private screening of Noah and sending further tweets describing the film as powerful, fascinating and resonant. "I'm not being disrespectful," he says. "My messages started with 'Dear Holy Father' and I think he's great. I haven't felt any connection with the Pope until this guy came along. He's intelligent and erudite. And he's a real force for good. I genuinely believe that if he saw the film, he would appreciate it and understand it." Pope Francis, who has 3.8 million followers on Twitter, compared with Crowe's 1.4 million. So a lot of Twitter users would have seen that if they follow either one of them. I don't know why it caused a stir. I don't think there were anything wrong with saying that. Do you? I mean, come on. There's no wrong in that. Russell Crowe says that I divide spirituality from religion, and I think organised religion has got a lot to answer for. How many wars have there been that haven't been based around an essential religious difference? But I do believe in spirituality. I believe that God lives inside all of us. Life is about kindness and giving. Well, I mean, he's got a strange belief, hasn't he? I mean, but you know, at least he's got a belief in the Bible. That's what counts. Life is about kindness and giving, and that's the core things. Gratitude is the most powerful thing you can have in your life. If you are grateful for small things, bigger things come. If you are cynical, the stuff you want to do never works out, and your cynicism gets deepened, and you get more embittered. Yeah, but it says that it doesn't. I don't believe there's a crusty old bloke with a long white beard floating on a cloud. Neither do I. That's just cartoon beliefs, innit? The movie has been made the subject of a fatwa by leading figures in Sunni Islam and has been banned in 3 Arab countries for depicting religious characters even before its release. It's not even out yet. Nobody's seen it. Does Crowe think the finished film will upset Christians? He said, "They'll love it," he says. "You have a whole bunch of people trying to preempt what it might be, but Darren's been working on this since he was 17. Darren Aronofsky. He knows what he's doing. Darren is Darren Aronofsky, the edgy director of Black Swan and Requiem for a Dream, who has, Crowe tells me, been fascinated by the Ark since he wrote a prize-winning essay about Noah as a teenager. He's read the translations of all the Bibles from the Hebrew through to King James, and he's seen the way the story gets changed and perverted. Noah is the first of a coming flood of biblical epics. Yes! See panel. Oh. And there is much riding on its success, not least its $130 million budget. The studio is hoping the film will appeal to the same Christian groups that earned Mel Gibson's The Passion of the Christ $611 million in 2004. Crowe is cast alongside Sir Anthony Hopkins and Emma Watson, and Anthony Hopkins is a Christian. Remember when I mentioned it, he was in the Sorted magazine. When was it? About a year ago. So Anthony Hopkins does believe. I'm not saying, you know, he's got a belief, same as Russell Crowe. So that's fantastic. Emma Watson is also in it, as well as Jennifer Connelly and Douglas Booth. Event, which is this magazine here, this one, what's from Sunday Mail. Event has seen 40 minutes of footage of the film, and it looks spectacular. Particularly the battles fought around the Ark, and a dream sequence where Noah is at the bottom of the ocean surrounded by animals rising up through the water, and there are sci-fi elements including six-armed fallen angels and Darwinian evolution. When Noah tells his family the creation story, we see a time-lapse sequence of life morphing from amobas to apes before, in a separate act, God creates man. Our talk turns back to Noah and the theme of environmental chaos. I believe in the Great Flood. Every religious text talks about it. You can see the marks of it in the Grand Canyon. You can see the marks of the flood everywhere. Aboriginal tribes have a flood mythology. It's happened. Maybe it'll happen again. Maybe that's why this movie is important. It won't happen again. Russell Crowe's got that wrong. Because after the first flood, God said that he will never ever flood the whole world again. That's why we have rainbows in the sky to tell us that. That's an indication. Rainbows aren't just there for laugh. Oh, we've had a bit of rain. Oh yeah, these rainbows appear. No, they're amazing to look at. It's absolutely obvious. Why? Read the Bible. It's a message from God to say that he will never ever flood the earth again. There will be little floods here and there, don't get me wrong, there'll be big floods, but as a whole, God will never ever flood the earth again. And if this earth gets flooded in my lifetime as a whole, then that means you owe me £10 million. Let's have a bet. That was a joke. Sorry, forgive me, God. But yeah, that's that. Oh no, well that's that little bit, what we're on about. I went to Sunday school. This is Russell Crowe. Russell Crowe went to Sunday school. And when I was older, I went to different churches, Anglican, Presbyterian and Catholic. Well, trust him to go to Catholic church. But, you know, it's up to him, innit? I explored it all. I've had one of my boys baptised, Charlie, and will have Tennyson baptised in the future. Crowe himself wasn't baptised. Now that he's played a great biblical patriarch, has the time finally come? The thing is, I would love to be baptised by a man of pure religion that I respect and love like Pope Francis. So he wants somebody to baptise him like the Pope. Do you know what I mean?